Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Furrier with theCUBE. We are here in San Jose with the Santa Clara Convention Center for the GSA Awards Celebration. It's a gala event. It's the Oscars of the semiconductor industry. Bonnie Hyun is here. She runs the capital markets for the NYSE. Of course, theCUBE and the NYSE have a collaboration. Bonnie, great to see you.
Great, likewise, John. Super happy to be here tonight.
So the momentum that you guys have in tech is off the charts. IPOs this year in tech, significant milestones. How many IPOs? 6 out of the top 8 billion dollar IPOs.
Yes.
NYSE.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic year. Obviously it was a little bit bumpy with Liberation Day, but post that we were able to kind of get really interesting companies listed such as Circle, Figma, Bullish, Beta Technologies, and hopefully we'll get a couple more before the end of the year on Techland.
And the NYSE is like it's a new kind of NYSE because you got ICE, billions of dollars in revenue. ICE, NYSE is a place everyone's going public on. Crypto loves NYSE. The tech loves NYSE. All the legacy big time tech names like IBM, Kyndryl, Snowflake, they're all there. It's the place.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. I joined about 10 years ago to really grow the tech practice. I am for sure, absolutely, tech is in my blood. That's what I love and thrive on. And so really seeing that come to life here at the New York Stock Exchange is amazing. Certainly with our parent Intercontinental Exchange and the different areas that we can really elevate around data, which is really at the heart of our company at the end of the day, across not only the equities market, but also the commodities markets, mortgage technology, all of that I think is so relevant in the world that we're living in here, which is obviously AI.
I wrote a post on LinkedIn about this, how progressive NYSE is. It's a progressive group now. You guys are doing some cutting edge things. You mentioned the data, the poly market announcement was pretty massive. I thought it was very strong. And why not? That's the future too. A lot of things going on here at the semiconductor industry. This is like a mainstream event now. This is like, we don't have a red carpet. We should, because Pat Gelsinger just came out. I just saw Charlie Kawhi from Broadcom. We've been all the top people. It's the whole world economy is in this place right now.
Yeah, it's phenomenal to see how semiconductors is now back in the spotlight. And it's so meaningful to me personally, John, because I started my tech career in semiconductors. And so to kind of see it full circle now to where it used to be so much more of a consolidation play, and now you see amazing companies. And certainly we had the privilege of working with a company called Ambiq, which is doing SoC processing at the edge for healthcare devices such as Garmin watches, etc. It's incredible.
Yeah, and all that data is going to feed into the cloud, into the AI engines. I got to ask you because semiconductor. I lived in Silicon Valley for 25 years, and if you were a semiconductor nerd, you were doing great work, but it wasn't mainstream. But it's definitely its own industry, own micro community. How many of these events have you been to, GSA? This is like what, your 10th event, 13? How many events have you been to?
I mean, I don't want to date myself here, John, but
you've been to a lot of them.
I've been to many semiconductor
What's it like this year?
I mean, it's fantastic. The buzz is back again, as I mentioned, because there are so many really, really interesting companies as you think about building out ultimately the hardware that's going to power the new economy around AI. It's not just about the GPUs, but certainly it's a whole ecosystem, whether it's storage, whether it's memory, whether it's networking, all those different elements need to now be on this new architecture, and I think that's what's really exciting, and I'm really, really excited to see sort of what the next chapter unfolds, or whether it is the companies that are in existence today, or whether it's the companies of tomorrow.
I just saw an IPO candidate here. They've been at the NYSE at the CUBE studios. Celestial AI, I saw Diane Bryant on the board. Just on the board of Broadcom, I just saw, again, the Broadcom execs here. NVIDIA's CTO I just met in the hallway again. They got bought for $5 billion from Marvel. So this market's got the M&A, it's got the IPOs coming. We just had Scale Flux on. You mentioned the companies that you guys are working with. What's your forecast? Read the tea leaves. What do you see out there?
Yeah, I mean, for 2026, I can talk about in terms of capital markets and new listings and IPOs, and I'm very optimistic. We are already up kind of 25% year over year overall in equities, and I feel like and think that we're going to go back to a more normalized rate of IPOs. The second thing is we are seeing tech come back, and I think what you're going to see in 2026, if I had to kind of be, looking into the crystal ball, is I think you're going to see a lot of large deals go out next year, and also ones that are really sort of have that scale, have the profitability, and really are kind of the next generation of innovators.
I just came back from the Amazon reInvent conference, just got off a plane to come here, and I go to a lot of the dinners, and there's always the good dinners you want to go to. The VCs have a dinner, and this year half the room was empty, which means the founders are out doing deals. And so there's a lot of growth in the AI world right now coming, so I'm imagining that IPO wave on just the AI hasn't even started yet. I mean, still, AI infrastructure for sure, but there's now a whole nother next abstraction of companies that'll get value extraction out of the AI semiconductor infrastructure side of it. You mentioned Edge. Edge is going to explode. Hyperconverged Edge. So as this all comes together, that's going to happen, and then another wave comes.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Like I said, I think that this is big. It is a very, very big movement that started 2 years ago, and you've seen sort of what has happened vis-a-vis whether you think about the comm side, whether you think about the internet, whether you think about mobile. I think that's the scale of what we're talking about, and certainly there's going to be absolutely disruptors, and in that world you're going to have a combination of companies that are going to be acquired because of their technology to help existing companies, and then the ones that do really have a very, very unique value proposition, they have the opportunity to potentially be independent and be public.
It's been great to get your perspective, and I want to ask you because we had theCUBE. I've been in Silicon Valley for 25 years now. I just got the studio at the NYSE, and having that location, I've kind of like as fresh eyes. I'm not in your world, but I'm learning a lot. I've noticed that the acceleration on the computing side has happened, certainly from the mainstream value proposition. Has the going public road changed? Is it accelerated? Is Silicon Valley different, or is it still the same? And if so, what's the tech scene like here? Is it faster public path? What's the dynamics on going public? Because a lot of companies are thinking, I'm going to go public. What's the same and what's different?
That's a great question. If you look at when I was on the investment banking side years ago before NYSE, you could see smaller companies go out, and they go out at kind of a 5+ years after founding and raise about $50 million, maybe $100 million, and they're off to the races, right? These days, I think it's a little bit different. There's much more of a scale game, and certainly this year we saw more of, as you alluded to, we had really large billion-dollar tech IPOs go out this year, right? So again, that's more of the valuation of those companies that went out. So certainly that was a little bit of the abundance of private capital out there has delayed, not in a bad way.
The later stage rounds got that bigger money in there.
Correct.
Kind of quasi IPOs.
Right. $100
million Series D or 300 million, in some cases billions. Look at Databricks. They have billions of dollars in the private.
Right, exactly. You're seeing billion-dollar private company raises out there and valuations that are in the post $30, $40 billion. So, but at some point, there are really, truly benefits of being a public company. Certainly, I think broader access to capital, different types of capital, an ability for companies to give their employees real liquidity is another one. And then certainly, as we talked about M&A, it's an acquisition currency that's super important, that is much more valuable than in the private markets. And I'm really, really happy to say that I think now with the new chairman Atkins at the SEC, his mandate is to really make IPOs great again. And so I'm very excited about sort of what could come of that to, again, lessen a little bit of the burden of being a public company, but also, again, have companies be able to benefit from the advantages that I just spoke about.
Well, we'll continue to track those IPOs with you guys. And again, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy this celebration.
Yeah,
great
likewise.
To see you.
Thank you so much.
All right,
John.
I'm John Furrier here. It's celebration, but this is where the players are. The AI infrastructure is going to be a big IPO wave and also M&A wave, but also behind that is all the value extraction on top of it, the agents, all the AI software, all coming next, all going to go public, all happening here, all that value, wealth creation happening here in the Valley, of course, and New York as well. I'm John Furrier. Thanks for watching.